I will compare the 2010 film Boy by Taika Waititi with the 1993 film What's Eating Gilbert Grape directed by Lasse Hallström. I'll analyze these films through the lens of the hero's journey by exploring how cinematography and visual imagery can portray a complex parental situation. Alongside this, I'll also present a commentary on their cultural context, one with strong influences from the Maori Renaissance in New Zealand at the time, and the other illustrating the nuances of small-town rural America. The hero's journey, or monomyth, is a universal story structure that takes a protagonist through a journey of personal transformation, heroically going through challenging events and trials, breaking free from the conventions or situation that they've been living in. There are countless coming-of-age movies that follow the hero's journey, portraying the protagonist moving towards maturity and self-discovery while navigating and struggling with the difficulties of family life and complex parental situations. No! In the films Boy and What's Eating Gilbert Grape, the death of a parent poses an additional challenge for the protagonist to navigate and overcome. Waititi purposely set his movie in the 1980s, a time of Maori Renaissance. Boy was released during a time when New Zealand's film industry was gaining international recognition. Filmmakers like Waititi contributed to this success by bringing unique stories with a Kiwi perspective to the global stage. A potential personal reason why Waititi may have chosen to depict a single-parent family living in poverty is because the context of his own family life growing up was very poor, with a solo parent raising him. The production of What's Eating Gilbert Grape took place in a time of socio-economic decline in rural America. Small towns faced limited opportunities and economic hardship, which created harsh conditions for families like the Grapes. Hallström skillfully captures these struggles, reflecting on this era's socio-economic realities.
They're doing the right thing, just passing through.
The lead up to the 1990s was also a time when family dynamics were shifting and evolving. What's Eating Gilbert Grape serves as a reflection of that time by mirroring the struggles of a single-parent family in rural America. This comparative study is highly relevant because it seeks to deepen our understanding of complexities commonplace in today's society. I've chosen films with differing perspectives of the universal themes of family dynamics and economic hardship. Through the examination of cinematographic techniques, I'll uncover the ways that the hero's journey and cultural context are reflected and reinforced on screen. Although the films were released 17 years apart, they were set in the same time period. We find out that Boy is set in 1984 from the opening 90 seconds of the film in a clever use of mise-en-scène by Waititi. The movie is based on the east coast of New Zealand in Waihui Bay.
That area of New Zealand, that's where I grew up.
He drew inspiration from his own childhood within a household of many children and few adults. The context of the when and the where of the movie is key to Waititi's film intention.
I wanted to show that style of New Zealand life, and especially in the 80s, it was a lot different.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape is set in the fictional town of Endora, Iowa. We can infer it is in the late 1980s or early 1990s from the fashion, like dungarees, haircuts, and makeup, and also the details in the set design of the small town shops like the public telephones, architecture of buildings, and cars of that time. Peter Hedges, who wrote the novel What's Eating Gilbert Grape, says his inspiration was from growing up in Iowa. There are lots of similarities and influences from his own small-town life. Boy is a compelling film centered around an 11-year-old Maori protagonist, whose life revolves around the fantasy of seeing his dad again, who he worships and initially views as a hero. As Boy realizes that his original image of his father was hugely inflated, he has to face up to the truth, and also to him. The film cleverly emphasizes the profound impact of the family's socio-economic circumstances and highlights the context of the Maori culture. What's Eating Gilbert Grape centers around Gilbert, a 24-year-old who is forced to work hard balancing his job at a local grocery store, looking after his obese mother and caring for his autistic brother Arnie. Gilbert's father is not present in the film. The audience is led to believe that he hung himself in the basement. The film focuses on responsibility and the quest for change. Similar to Boy, Gilbert faces challenges of love, duty, and self-actualization while coming of age living in a small town marked by socio-economic struggles. Now let's begin delving into lighting, which is one cinematographic technique that Waititi and Hallström utilized to convey their hero's journey. Throughout Boy, deliberate use of vivid, vibrant lighting are used in the scenes when Boy is imagining his neglectful but flamboyant and complex father, creating a striking contrast with the more natural and dull tones of other parts of the movie. This clear visual distinction in the lighting reflects Boy's changing perspectives as he grapples with his father's flaws on his journey of understanding. Waititi illustrates a shift in the journey for Boy when he first encounters his father, Alamein.
Who are you?
Boy.
The warm ethereal tone to the lighting emphasizes the beginning of Boy's transformation. Waititi utilizes low-key lighting towards the end of Boy's hero's journey when he confronts his father, boldly telling him they are not alike.
I thought I was like you, but I'm not.
Immediately after this pivotal moment, the screen is flooded with high-key natural lighting. Boy awakens and starts cleaning up the house that his father had ransacked and damaged. The bright natural lighting reflects the returning home of Boy within the hero's journey and signifies the ending of darkness and internal conflict for Boy, and illustrates his newfound self-awareness, maturity, and empowerment. The lighting in What's Eating Gilbert Grape enhances the impact of Gilbert's hero's journey too. Natural lighting conveys the hardships of small-town living in rural America through the raw and realistic feeling it brings. This is in contrast to the low-key lighting, where Gilbert's responsibilities and complex parental situation is emphasized. During these moments of internal conflict and challenge, the low-key lighting casts shadows across Gilbert's face. In scenes where Gilbert interacts with Becky, Hallström often makes use of soft lighting, signifying the warmth and blossoming of their relationship. Similarly to the way they manipulated lighting techniques, Waititi and Hallström deliberately use framing to guide their audiences on a journey of change, challenge, and personal growth. Waititi sets the scene by framing wide shots against the backdrop of New Zealand's rural landscape, emphasizing Boy's innocence and freedom. These establishing shots set the scene for his hero's journey. When Waititi's intention was to increase the intensity of the moment, he often makes use of close-ups which emphasize the various challenges that Boy goes through. These examples of the technique create a more meaningful shot, often by masterfully isolating Boy within the frame. This is Waititi's way of highlighting his internal struggles and growth. The use of exit frames symbolize Boy trying to move forward by leaving his old self behind. Hallström uses framing to convey the hero's journey of Gilbert. Close-up shots, as in Boy, help to emphasize times of conflict or challenge for Gilbert. Extreme close-up shots illustrate isolation, emotion, and a deep sense of responsibility that Gilbert goes through on his journey. Wide-angle shots capture the essence of Gilbert being trapped within the small town, emphasizing his desire to escape. They also serve as a reminder of the context of the movie set within a small town. Characters are often framed by windows or doorways, symbolizing confined lives and the lack of freedom. Although the technique of frame within a frame was used in both films, it is more commonly used in What's Eating Gilbert Grape than in Boy. Hallström utilizes leading lines which illustrates the journey that Gilbert is on, symbolizing Gilbert's aspirations and quest for freedom and a better future. Lighting and framing in both movies mirror the emotional states of the protagonist.
Man, I mean, E.T. is one of the ugliest buggers I've ever seen. Big googly eyes.
Warm lighting in both movies often signifies positive and transformative moments, while harsh or vivid lighting reflects challenges and internal conflicts. Close-ups are utilized in both movies during moments of realization, challenge, and transformation. Within both movies, motifs play a pivotal role in conveying the hero's journey when dealing with complex parental situations and economic hardship, and providing insight into the cultural context of the movies. Boy was set in the 1980s, a period of cultural resurgence called the Maori Renaissance. This awakening saw interest in Maori identity, art, and traditions grow. It is a significant context within which Boy was created. A strong visual motif shown throughout Boy is the abandoned car, which can be perceived to represent Alamein failed attempts to reconnect with his old family and how Boy and his family were left behind and are stuck, living in financial hardship. In comparison, a visual motif consistently used throughout What's Eating Gilbert Grape is the water tower. It is a prominent feature in the town of Endora, standing tall and visible from various locations, symbolizing a sense of permanence and stagnation in the small town environment. The final time Arnie climbs the tower, he gets locked up. The water tower is by far the tallest building in Endora and represents Gilbert's helplessness when trying to care for Arnie.
Do you think I could borrow some money? I'm just a bit broke at the moment.
Economic hardship is evident in both the Grape household and Boy's household. The fabric of Gilbert's house is deteriorating and run down. The set design plays a significant role in conveying a complex parental situation as well as poor socio-economic conditions. Within both houses, the cracked walls and peeling paint further illustrate economic hardship and complex family situations. In conclusion, both Boy and What's Eating Gilbert Grape effectively show the protagonist's hero's journey reflected in differing cultural contexts and within complex parental situations and economic hardships. This is done through the use of the hero's journey and the choices to use specific cinematography and visual imagery to highlight the challenges and transformations experienced by the characters, resonating with universal themes of family dynamics and coming of age.